Hey leaders, welcome to another sermon preview for the week. This Sunday we're starting a brand new series called God in Politics, and we're very excited about it. It's a different kind of series, unlike anything that we've really done before. We've never had a series that really focuses on politics and government and what God thinks of that, but we thought this would be a good time in the Sundays leading up to the election. So this will take us right up until the Sunday before the election, so we'll have 3 weeks in this series. And I just want to say, as you get ready to close on Sundays and talk to people after services and just talk to your shepherding team and different people throughout Alpine, please remember sort of the heart of this series. We're trying to look at what does the Bible say about God and government? What does Jesus teach? And the point isn't to push a certain candidate or a certain political party. The point is for us to know, what does God think about government? What is our relationship to the government as Christians, as citizens, as a church? And so that's what we're going to explore in this series, and we'll just see where it takes us. In week number 1, we're going to look at some foundational teaching of Jesus on God and the government, and to really understand what's the relationship between God and government. And we're going to do that by looking at some bad ideas and then looking at one really good idea. So our main text for the morning or the evening or the afternoon, whatever your service is Matthew 22. It's the story when Jesus is asked about taxes by the Pharisees and the Herodians. So you'll want to look at that story. And then as we go through that story, what we say is that sort of the big idea for us to take away for this Sunday is that Jesus says that there's really 2 spheres of influence going on, that God has granted legitimate authority to the government, that the government plays an important God-given crucial role, and we should honor that as Christians. And what we need to do as people of faith is to figure out, well, how is the realm of God and the realm of government, how do those things go together? And to help us do that, we're going to look at some bad ideas. Wrong idea number 1 is government should tell us what to believe. There's some people out there in history that believe that governments should tell you what to believe, and we'll expose why that's wrong. Wrong idea 2 is government should shut out faith, that faith has nothing to do with governments and politics and leading a nation and passing laws. And what we're going to show is that if you're a Christian and you want to follow the Bible, then you can't really say that government should shut out faith either. That's not right according to the Bible. And then wrong idea number 3 is government is worthless. And maybe some of us feel this way, that government is inept or maybe even evil, and we can't really hope for it to do anything. But we'll see that that's not even really what God says. The truth is God uses government for his purposes, and we'll get that from the teaching of Jesus. We'll get it from some Old Testament stories, and we'll see that God is behind the work of governments. He brings up kings and he brings them down. He's behind presidents and prime ministers and congresses, and he uses them for his purposes. And so the big takeaway for everyone is to learn a lot of the stuff that we're going to cover, but then ultimately it's to learn to trust God. That some people are really concerned about politics in this election, and they want to know what it's going to mean for their health and their finances, and there are all sorts of different views on the way they look at the world. And so they're concerned about what happens if their candidate doesn't win. And if they're really ultimately concerned with this, they need to learn to trust God. That no matter what happens, God is still behind what is going on in the world, that God is still at work, that God hasn't abandoned us. So maybe some people need to learn to trust God with their views on government and their hopes for the future, that it's not all in a politician to save them, but it's in God. And then for others, maybe it's just something else that is going on in their life, that we can use this as an opportunity, and we'll use this in the sermon as an opportunity to remind people that we need to trust God in whatever area of life. Not everyone is going to be real interested in politics and compelled by that, but some people need to learn to trust God when it comes to their health and their finances and their marriage. And so as a close, I would just encourage you to really zone in on that idea of learning to trust God, that we can trust God because he has been at work in the world orchestrating his plans and his purposes for the world for thousands of years. He has used pagan kings and queens in the past to do his bidding, and he can use governments today even if they don't honor him, and that we should look to place our hope in God. When Jesus says, as he does in the story, to give to Caesar's what is Caesar's and to give to God what is God's, putting our trust in God, that is giving to God what belongs to him, and it's what hopefully all of us at Alpine will do. So that's some idea for your close. I also just want to let you know Hopefully you know that you can go to the Go site and you can click on this area where the shepherding team is to find videos. And when you do that, it'll take you, my internet's slow, but here's the sermon preview video area is down here. And then that'll take you to our YouTube page with our playlist. And sometimes we record these videos and we forget to put them number one on the playlist. And so if you ever see that the sermon preview isn't there, and especially if it's Friday or Saturday, scroll down to the bottom and sometimes they're hiding out down there. So just want to let you know that. I hope you have a great Sunday. God bless.